If you would like to learn how to create hologram effect in Photoshop, then check out this video where I will explain everything in so much detail that everyone can create the effect, even those who have just opened Photoshop for the first time. Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. My name is Marko Kožakar and I'm an elite Envato Market and Envato Elements author. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create hologram effect in Photoshop, inspired by the Royal Bloods band Limbo song video. If you're looking for a ready-made hologram effect, let me show you the Envato Elements. Here you can get unlimited downloads of graphic assets, templates, fonts, and so much more. You can just type hologram in the search bar and you will find thousands of hologram-related items. After you start the Photoshop, go to File, New, to create a new file, and set the width and height to 3000 pixels. Then, go to File again, Place Embedded, select the photo from the link, and click Place. Set the width and height of this layer to 100.03%. Name this layer Temp 1. Now right-click on this layer and choose Rasterize layer. Then, press Ctrl A on your keyboard to make a selection of the whole canvas. And go to Image, Crop. Press Ctrl D on your keyboard to deselect the selection. Right-click on this layer again and choose Convert to Smart Object. Now go to Filter, Pixelate, Mosaic, and set the cell size to 20 square. Go to Filter, Filter Gallery, select the texture folder and choose the Patchwork filter. Set the square size to 5 and relieve to 0. Now go to Filter again, Filter Gallery. This time select the Sketch folder and choose the halftone pattern. Here, set the size to 5, contrast to 0, and pattern type to line. Double-click here and change the blending mode of the halftone pattern filter to hard light. Now go to Filter, Distort, Polar Coordinates, and select the rectangular to polar. Now choose the elliptical marquee tool and shift-click and drag to make the 3000 pixels circle radius selection. Center the selection with the canvas and press Ctrl J on your keyboard to create a new layer using the selection. Name this new layer Temp 2 and hide the Temp 1 layer. Now we are going to create the glowing parts. Make a selection of one slice of the circle using any tool or method that you feel comfortable using. Once you make the selection, press Ctrl J on your keyboard to create a new layer using the selection. Name this layer P1. Press Ctrl T on your keyboard to bring up the transform options. Check the toggle reference point and click here to set the reference point location. Set the width and height to 63.75% and angle to 45 degrees. Go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue and Saturation to create an adjustment layer that we are going to use to change the color of the part. Name this layer P1 Color. Now press Ctrl, Alt and G on your keyboard to create a clipping mask and change the blending mode of this layer to Color. Then, double-click on this layer thumbnail and here in the Properties panel, set the Hue to 140. Now repeat this process to create as many parts as you want. Feel free to use different transform and hue settings. Here is my result. So I have repeated it 5 times and I got 6 part layers in total. You can see how I have used the different transform settings as well as the hue values. Now hide the Temp2 layer in the Layers panel. We are going to change the background color now. So set the foreground color to 16111C. Select the background layer, go to Edit, Fill, and here set the contents to foreground color, blending mode to normal, and opacity to 100%. Choose OK. Select the P1 color layer and Control-click on the P1 layer to select both layers. Now right-click on any of these two layers and choose Convert to Smart Object. Change the blending mode of this layer to Screen and name it P1. Now we need to repeat these for other part layers. I will fasten the video here. Now we are going to add glow to the parts. Select the P1 layer and press Ctrl-J on your keyboard to duplicate this layer. Then go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and set the radius to 20 pixels. Control-click on the P1 layer thumbnail to make a selection of this layer. Then go to Select, Modify, Contract, set the contrast by to 35 pixels, and go to Select, Modify again, and choose the feather. Set the feather radius to 15 pixels. Now go to Layer, Layer Mask, Hide Selection, to add a layer mask that will hide selected area of the layer and reveal the rest. Change the blending mode of this layer to Linear Dodge, and set the opacity to 80%. Name this layer P1 Glow. Now repeat this process for other part layers as well. I will again fasten the video here. To make the parts better blend with the glow, we are going to add a layer mask to them as well. Select the P1 layer and Control-click on this layer thumbnail to make a selection of this layer. Then go to Select, Modify, Contract, and this time set the contrast by to 7 pixels. Go to Select, Modify, Feather, and set the feather radius also to 7 pixels. Now go to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal Selection, to add a layer mask that will reveal selected area of the layer. Again, we need to repeat this step for other part layers as well, so I'll fasten the video here. Now we are going to create the beams. Select the P1 glow layer, go to Layer, New, Layer to create a new layer, and name it Temp3. Press D on your keyboard to reset the swatches, and go to Filter, Render, Clouds. Now press Ctrl-T on your keyboard to transform this layer, and set the width and height to 200%. Press Ctrl-A on your keyboard to make a selection of the whole canvas. Then go to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal Selection, to add a layer mask that is going to reveal selected area of the layer. Right-click on the layer mask and choose Apply Layer Mask. Now go to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur, and set the amount to 100, blur method to zoom, and quality to best. Go to Filter, Stylize, Find Edges. Then, go to Image, Adjustments, Invert, and Image, Adjustments, Levels, and set the highlights input level to 15. Go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and set the radius to 5 pixels. Go to Filter, Blur, and this time choose Radial Blur. Use the same settings again, so set the amount to 100, blur method to zoom, and quality to best. Go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and set the highlights input level to 135. Now we are going to transform this layer, so press Ctrl T on your keyboard and set the width and height to 130%. Go to Select, Color Range, and make sure to set the Select to midtones. Select the Temp 1 layer, hide the Smart Filters, and press Ctrl J on your keyboard to create a new layer using the selection. Then, drag this layer just below the Temp 3 layer in the Layers panel. And we are going to hide the Temp 3 layer. Go to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur, and again set the amount to 100, blur method to zoom, and quality to best. Then, change the blending mode of this layer to Color Dodge and name it Beams. Now we need to adjust the color of this layer, so go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue and Saturation, and name this layer Beams Color. Press Ctrl Alt and G on your keyboard to create a clipping mask, and change the blending mode of this layer to Color. Then, double-click on this layer thumbnail, and here in the Properties panel, set the hue to -90. Now we are going to create the shattered parts. Select the Beams layer, hide it, and Control-click on this layer thumbnail to make a selection. Then, select the Beams color layer and press Ctrl, Alt, Shift, and D on your keyboard to make a screenshot. Now press Ctrl J to create a new layer using this selection. Change the blending mode of this layer to Linear Dodge. Go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and set the shadow input level to 15. Then, press Ctrl T on your keyboard and set the angle to 15 degrees. Name this layer SP1. You can now repeat this process to create as many shattered parts as you want. Feel free to use different levels and transform settings. I'm going to repeat this step once more, so I'm not going to fasten the video here. Right, so here is my result. And now I have two shattered part layers. Now hide the layer 1 and show the Beams layer. Now we are going to fade out the cutoff edges of these two layers. Select the SP1 layer, go to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All, to add a layer mask that reveals the whole layer. Set the foreground color to black. Choose the brush tool by hitting B on your keyboard, right-click anywhere inside the canvas, and pick a soft round brush. Now brush over these edges. I will hide the SP1 layer for now. Now I will repeat the same for the SP2 layer, so I will hide the SP1 layer and show and select the SP2 layer. You need to repeat the same for all shattered part layers that you have. After you finish, show all the shattered part layers. We have to add one more detail to the effect, and that are stray pixels. Select the SP1 layer, go to Layer, New, Layer to create a new layer, and name it Temp4. Press D in your keyboard to reset the swatches. Go to Filter, Render, Clouds, and filter, pixelate, mosaic, and set the cell size to 10 square. Go to Select, Color Range, set the select to sampled colors, and now using the eyedropper tool, click anywhere inside the canvas to choose the color for selection. Then, set the fuzziness to 0. Select the layer 1 in the Layers panel and press Ctrl J on your keyboard to create a new layer using the selection. Drag this new layer here, hide the Temp4 layer, and change the blending mode of this layer to Linear Dodge. Now go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and set the Shadow Levels input to 20. Name this layer Stray Pixels. You can now transform this layer and also repeat this process to create more stray pixel layers. I'm going to keep only one layer and I'm going to transform it. So I'm just going to press Ctrl T on my keyboard and I'm going to set the width and height of the layer to 125%. Now you can delete the layer 1 and all the temp layers that we have made. Here is our final result. I hope you understood everything. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Marco, and thank you for watching.